One, two, one, two. Okay. All right. Well, I guess I'm gonna just start talking. I was trying to do something, man. See. I should never start trying to do something right before I'm supposed to be talking about something because then it throws my thought process all off, and I got to remember what I was trying to think. It's all good though. I'm a wing it anyway, but I'm just saying it's just this. I'm trying to be trying to be more cognizant of what's going on, in different areas. And I'm not the fastest or brightest, but I try to do what I can do with what I got. So yeah, this is these kids are something else, man. I tell you what, I've been walking my kids up to the school. Oh man, how old is she? She's about 6, 7 years now. And when you do that, you see the other kids, man. You just watch them grow. These kids, they getting bigger, and I'm just they get bigger and they start talking more, man. I remember some kids who hardly even spoke English in kindergarten, and now you just like what? This is the same. You know what I'm saying? I'm just like, wow, these kids are just growing up and they just talking. Sometimes when I go up to pick my daughter up from school, man, I, I don't really interact too much with too many people. I just go up and wait for my daughter. I'm dialed in, man, and cars be moving through there kind of fast. I look. Sometimes I just be like, "Yo, I'm getting ready to walk across." Like I hell act like they about to hit my ass just to get people to damn it slow down. You know, I be driving like a damn grandma, and grandpa through these streets because I'll be watching these kids grow up, and I don't want to hit any of them. You know, and people be zooming around and not zooming around. I ain't trying to slow down that much. I mean, I just be driving regular. I'm not trying to pull the Justin Bieber through the neighborhood. But some of these people don't care. But but yeah, I go up there, man, and I just listen. I listen to these kids, and they just, man, some bright kids. They on top of it, and you could tell they thinking, and you just hear some of the most interesting things, and you don't want to say nothing because you don't want them to know that you listening, but you listening, and in a way, they kind of know you listening. Yeah, I had this one girl when I was up there. She came up to me and she said, "You remind me of my neighbor." I was like, "Oh yeah." I said, okay. So he comes out and he says hi and he talks, but you don't really talk that much. I was like, no, I don't. And I think the reason why I don't really talk to too many people's kids that much unless I kind of know their parents. It's just I don't know if it's just a me thing or what, but you know, I'll say what is necessary at the time. But yeah, she's right. I don't really say too much to many people. Not up there anyway. Some of the kids, like the neighborhood kids, parent, like the people on my street, I know their parents. And I talk to those kids all the time when I see them. You know, try to see what's up, how things going. Make sure they're taking care of their parents and whatnot. And, make sure they're not going crazy. You know, and but it's just different when you're dealing with people's kids, and they don't really know you like that. So the other night, my daughter's school had this fundraiser type thing up at the McDonald's where a percentage of the funds go to school. And sometimes, man, it's good to go to these functions because you have other parents and other kids up there. They're thinking about going and they get to see some people that they know, yada, yada, yada. And you learn some things, man. They be talking. Talking. Man, I didn't know about some of the drama that be going on. I mean, it's not like huge drama, like, gang type stuff you know, that I can gather. It's just friends. Sometimes friends have issues with other friends. And it's just interesting to watch the kids go through it. You want them to not put themselves in a worse position, but in the end it's almost like you the coach, but when the kids in the game, you can't really have a say on how that game's going to play out. They kind of have to go through it. And friends have issues with other friends, and I think I said it in another podcast or another whatever the hell this is cast. Um, I've had friends who didn't get along. I thought, wow, these guys are so alike. They have to get along, right? It don't work out like that all the time, dude. It don't. You thinking, wow, man, these guys are both motivated. These guys both like to hang out and have a good time and whatnot. Just went the opposite way. And so it's almost like, it's like, hey, man, I love both of y'all, man. If y'all don't like each other, y'all don't have to hang out with each other. You just have to, kick it at different times or whatever. Don't worry about that. Just, I'll do me. And wherever y'all fall into that thing. But, you talking about kids in school, number one, and number two, you talking about girls. Because remember, I got two daughters and a wife. So you talking about, female friends, you know what I'm saying? Male friends. Matter of fact, one of the male friends had an issue at school, you know what I'm saying? And they just going through it. But sometimes it's difficult when you you know, see kids going through it and, and just by circumstances, sometimes these kids are raised by either a single mom or a grandmother or aunt or relative. You know what I'm saying? And it's rough because yeah, it's hard to raise a small child. With everything that's going on these days, with all the technology thing, and so sometimes, people, I feel like sometimes maybe, it's good to have a male point of view for some of these kids. If that view is kind, because you can tell when people kind of want to know what you think. You know what I'm saying? You can tell when people want to know what your perspective is because they kind of like you just feel that kind of pause. And if you don't ever know when that is, then maybe you should just try to pay attention a little bit more. The cues are there. Excuse me. So I gave my input. Um, I hope it was the right one, and I hope it came across the right way. I try not to get involved in too many people's issues, but when you see, things like that, then hey, if you can lend a positive or a real representation of how you kind of see it, being you're older and you may have gone through that a similar type situation, and knowing that no situation is the same, because I tell you sometimes, you know I listen to some women, and it's almost like feeding into feeding the beast almost, versus understanding the situation that you're. I mean, don't get me wrong. You see a situation, you hear about a situation and say, okay, I would have done this. Boom. Okay, well, where I'm coming from, as the the fraternal figure in this whole situation, is okay. I know sometimes females be getting men into shit. Excuse my language. So I kind of have to take pause sometimes. Okay, what's behind all this? What Okay, and sometimes you just gotta act, and sometimes you have to understand your position and act accordingly. Those are two completely different things. And so hopefully, in whatever I did say, that came across in that particular situation. So anyway, but yeah, these kids are something else, bro. These kids, man, they going through a lot at one time, and then they got to process what you teach them. It's crazy, man. I send my kids home. I mean, to school. I get them back home, and it's like it's almost like you know how when you cook and you making like a cream, right? You got the hot. You making like a Bavarian cream. Yeah, I got the ingredients for your ass. So you got the eggs, right? Excuse me. And you got the hot milk mixture with the butter and the sugar in it, right? And it's hot. Well, it's kind of like the kids coming home hot, and you kind of have to temper them eggs, because you don't want to just pour that shit all in at one time, because if you do, the shit's gonna curdle. It's almost like the kids almost have to temper themselves back into home mode, man. And I got to keep that in mind as the parent, because they still they still dealing with the realities that they were in like half hour ago, 2 hours ago, 3, 5, 6 hours ago, back in school. Things that just happened. And it's a constant struggle as a parent, just to juggle juggle personalities, especially if you have multiple kids. Man, I know people who have multiple kids. You know, God bless them. And to be able to, and they're all different. All these kids are different. All of them. Every single one of them. Completely different individual people. I kind of liken it to being a coach on a team that's, well, hey, I just talk about what I know. I know about food. I know about coaches at the highest level because I was there with them. Anson Dorrance, 8 years. It's like being a good coach of a good team. You have personal time with each player, and also you have communal time with all the players. It's all important, you know. Anyway, that's just my take on that. Thanks for tuning in. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, whatever you will. It's D Train. It's a little bit of my bunk. Twitter at D Train's Bunk. Instagram at Don Trez Howard. Snapchat D Train's Corner. Anything else out there? We'll catch up on that next time. Peace out.